James Creedon, Creedon PLLC, Law on Tap. Wanted to talk to you today about forming up a veteran-owned company in Texas. This is actually my third time doing this because apparently I could not figure out my tech. But you know what? These things happen sometimes, so it's okay. Maybe the third time will be the most relaxed time and the most focused time. That's what I'm counting on. You'll get the benefit of my mistakes. So here we go. Forming up a veteran-owned company in Texas. So I was at an event last night. I got to meet our local state representative, and I was talking to him about when I formed up my company in 2017. I had come out of active duty with the Army, not that much earlier than that, and I was looking for all the benefits I could get to form up a company. As you all know, especially if you just came out of the military, sometimes you didn't get paid as much as you would have liked on active duty. Sometimes you didn't save as much as you wish you had, and you don't have much capital to get a company going. And so every little benefit counts. And I was happy in 2017, business friendly and veteran friendly Texas, to find that I could form up my LLC at that time with no filing fee with the Secretary of State, and I didn't have to pay franchise tax for 5 years to the comptroller. I was very happy for that because I didn't want to pay for things that I didn't have to pay for. And that benefit went along for a couple of years. We helped our clients with it. We formed up a number of veteran-owned businesses here in the state, and they got those same benefits. No filing fee, no franchise tax for 5 years. And then in 2020, it went away. So I was very happy when January 1st of this year, just not that long ago, the Texas State Legislature and the Texas governor reinstated this benefit. And so now it's available to every veteran who's out there. So what we're going to talk about today is, what's this benefit? Why does it matter? How do you qualify for it? So what's the benefit? The benefit is that if you're a veteran, you're forming up a company here in Texas, you can get the filing fee, the formation fee waived, so you don't have to pay it. And for the first 5 years of your operations, you will not have to pay franchise tax. You will have to file a no tax owed report every year. Very simple. Your accountant can do it, or you can do it very easily, but you won't have to pay any franchise tax. That's a great benefit because we're in a state where already we pay no sales tax. No income tax. So by paying no personal income tax and by decreasing our business tax, it's a good place to be as a company. So that's the benefit. The question is, why do you care? Well, if you're like me and you came out of the military fairly recently, or you're looking to expand into new opportunities, or you're sitting at home during COVID working remotely and you're going, you know what, I think I could do something on my own, now is the time to do it. January 1st, moving forward, form up and get the benefit of not paying that filing fee and get the benefit of not paying franchise tax for 5 years. So the nitty-gritty is who qualifies. And there's really 3 steps I want to talk to you about today. The first is that what kind of companies qualify. Companies being formed up here in the state of Texas qualify. If you're forming an LLC, if you're forming a corporation, if you're forming a partnership, those all qualify for no fee formations with the Texas Secretary of State. Subject of another conversation, but there's even entities you can form up that don't require Secretary of State filing, but still have to pay a franchise tax. Even those, you'll get the benefit, regardless of the Secretary of State, you'll get the benefit of not having to pay the franchise tax for 5 years. So you've got to be forming up a company in Texas. I think that makes sense because it is a Texas state law. Now, the second category is the real thing we have to dig into. It has to be a veteran-owned company that you're forming. So what's a veteran-owned company? It has to be 100% owned by honorably discharged veterans. 100% owned by honorably discharged veterans. 100% owned means that every owner falls into this category of being an honorably discharged veteran. If you have 50 owners, each of you has 2% of the company, and one of them has been dishonorably discharged, you will not qualify. If you own half the company and the other half is owned by a separate company, that will not qualify. It has to be 100% honorably discharged veterans. All right, what's an honorable discharge? So You know, if you were in the military, that honorable discharge can have all sorts of meanings because there's this sort of hierarchy of an honorable discharge, a general discharge, a bad conduct discharge, an other than honorable discharge, or an OTH, and a dishonorable discharge. And all of those things can happen because of everything from a very serious crime, and you go to a court martial, to a very minor issue, and you get chaptered out. You have a single drug hot or an APFT failure. That's in the Army, an APFT, but a physical fitness test failure. And as a result, your commander decides, you know what, start the paperwork. Let's chapter this guy or gal out of the military. And as a result, maybe you get a general discharge. The good news for everyone out there who's a veteran is that the only form of discharge that disqualifies you is a dishonorable discharge, the worst discharge you can get. Every other discharge, you are still able to get this benefit. Whether you got a general, bad conduct, other than honorable, and that's because they say here the term veteran means a person who served in the active military and who was discharged or released therefrom under conditions other than dishonorable. This is from the Texas Veterans Commission's paperwork. So it's a very broad umbrella of what they mean by honorable discharge. Now, what do we mean by military service? Any military service. That means you could be in active duty with the federal government. You could be a reservist and never have been activated. You could be a National Guardsman here in Texas and never have been Title 10 federal orders. All that matters is that you served in a military unit. So you enlisted or took the oath of office as a commissioned officer, and then you served your initial term. And you were discharged from that term. You completed that initial term. So let me give you a few examples. You're an officer. You go in, you're required to serve 4 years or 6 years. You serve your time. You decide to stay on afterwards, but you've completed your first term. That counts as a discharge. You'll have a DD-214. You're a National Guardsman who goes in, you enlist, you serve your 3 years. You decide to just get out, and you get your NGB form. I think it's the NGB-22. That counts. That counts as a discharge. If you stayed in, you re-enlisted, you'll still have an NGB form, an NGB, again, I believe it's the NGB-22, showing you were discharged. So all of that counts. What happens if you were injured during your military service? That's okay. If the reason why you were separated was because of your injury, according to the Texas Veterans Commission in their own paperwork, it says that if you were disabled or had an injury or aggravated in the line of duty or in a training status, you still count as a veteran. So the real takeaway here is we can dig into the language all day. The real takeaway is that the legislature and the Texas Veterans Commission have really broadened out this umbrella of who can qualify for this benefit. So you understand you have to be an honorably discharged veteran, and that everyone who owns the company has to be in this same status. Everyone's an honorably discharged veteran. So, sounds good? How do you form up the company? It's very easy. Go and search for Texas Veterans Commission, form a company, and you will get to a great guide that will walk you through all the steps. And the steps are very basic. There's really two sides to it. There's the legal side of you have to know how to form up a company. That's something that we can always help you with. There's lots of folks out there that will help you. Small Business Administration will help you. There's community colleges that offer entrepreneurial startup organizations that might help you. Lots of opportunities to figure out how to start the company. That's forming up the company itself, choosing what corporate form you want, getting whatever the documentation is that you need. And then there's the second half, which is getting the veterans benefit. To do that, there's a short process you have to walk through. It's not as hard as you might think. You're basically providing your DD-214 or your NGB form to the Texas Veterans Commission, and you'll get a verification letter verifying it's been confirmed that you are an honorably discharged veteran. You'll get this very particular number that's assigned to you, and that's the number you'll use when you're filing your paperwork to make sure you get the benefit of a no-fee formation. So all this is fairly easy to do. Pay attention, look into these benefits, talk to folks about them. If you're forming up a company as a veteran, these aren't the only benefits that are available. Sometimes there's financing opportunities. Sometimes there's grants available for you. Look around, find out what's out there. We've helped lots of veterans form up companies, and we ourselves, we're in the business of forming up these entities still find new benefits all the time in new organizations that we like to work with. So I wish you the best of luck. You're always welcome to reach out to me at our firm with any questions you might have. When we were on active duty, we looked out for each other. We look out for each other in the reserves where I am now. We look out for each other in the Guard where I was for a year and a half when I got out of active. And so we should look out for each other when on the civilian side. And veterans should help veterans build their businesses and be successful. So thanks so much. I hope that was helpful. Feel free to leave any questions or comments that you have, and I'll do my best to see them and close the loop with you. Thanks so much. Take care.